and adding decks to it. Go Ezreal here is one of the many decks that you can find up on my website. There's about 12.5 decks up there right now. This is one of my favorite control decks in the current format. So Ezreal is a fantastic controlling champion. 1/3 elusive for 3 that every time he hits the opponent's nexus, he generates that mystic shot for you. And this mystic shot that he generates not only helps you control the board, but also helps him level up by targeting enemy stuff. We have a ton of other things that target in this deck. File Feast, mystic shots, Go Hard are their namesake card here at the bottom. Even though Pack the Bags has been nerfed to cost 5 mana now, I think it's still very reasonable in this archetype. The fact that this hits the enemy nexus gives us reach as we go into the late game, in addition to helping us control the board. Another thing I really like about this particular deck is, unlike the Twisted Go Hard deck that was really popular last season before the nerf, this deck is very reasonable when it never draws Go Hard. So the fact that Pack got a little bit worse isn't a big deal, because we win plenty of games without that. At the top end of our curve, we've got interaction like Aftershock to deal with plazas, Vengeance to deal with large threats, Progress Days to gas back up. You'll note, looking at, where's the wrong button? Looking at the curve of our deck, we have a ton of 1 mana plays, especially once you put a couple of Go Hards into your deck. Progress Days frequently drawing us 0 mana plays to play to the board. And then we've got a cheeky Commander Ledros here at the very, very top end to help us close games out when we need it. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this and see how it goes. Why would you need to interact with your opponent's draw Safari Hat? Because of specifically Twisted Fate? I think having burst speed draw to level Twisted Fate is fine, because Twisted Fate's a pretty fragile unit that you have a lot of opportunities to kill. Okay, so this matchup tends to be pretty close in my experience. The key card on their side of the board is Daddy Pharaon can be pretty scary. That's a card we're going to want to try and prioritize saving our copies of Vengeance for, so we can kill it before it gets in a hit for damage. Thermo Beams sounds worth keeping here against their Draven Ezreal deck. I think I'll keep my Ezreal as well. Even with the nerf, Go Hard / Pack the Bags is one of our better cards in this matchup. Elise is a fantastic turn 2 draw here since we're attacking on evens. Elise is great because in these, against other mid-range decks, she applies pressure nicely like this, while against aggressive decks, she blocks reasonably as well. Yeah, when TS levels, he's still only a 3/3, so still pretty easy to kill. We just go ahead and Thermo Beam this. Then we get to open attacks again next turn, which is nice. I don't know about cars digging, but there is like a wind chimes type sound on this board for sure.
You won't suffer long.
That egg.
Did it move?
Quite the dish, aren't you?
Yeah, I think I want to try and level Elise here. I think shuffling some Go Hards into my deck here is fine too. This gets kind of savaged by Static Shock, I guess. Anything other than Static Shock, I'm pretty happy with here if they want to spend spells killing my spiders. Yeah, I think this exchange here, forcing a Thermo Beam out of their hand onto my Elise, sounds great. Does loving Elise do anything meaningful here? Yeah, it helps me control the board. It helps me, especially when I have an aggressive start like that, it helps me dictate profitable trades for myself. Lord Pingu, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel.
Time for a true display of skill.
Easiest blocks ever. Le Croissant. Good morning and welcome. Yeah, Challenger on Little Spiders is very, very good. For sure. Rictus, welcome.
shot.
So probably getting ourselves set up to Pogger's Day next turn. So we're going to want to bank some spell mana coming out of this turn. It's a little sad. If they pass, I'm going to end the turn here. They're burning one more mana than us, and like I said, I'm super happy to set up mana going into this turn with Progress Days in hand.
I thought you'd never ask.
That's tough. I think I give them an Ezreal attack here. It is not Moon Boots, so only targeting their stuff in play. Vengeance here is nice, because like I said, we want to have insulation in the event that they have a Captain Pharaon. One of their better plays here. I think we just do this. They still get a thing here, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Okay, that's nice. Do I think with Trip Jury Rig, I just pass here. They're going to attack. Will Jury Rig block the 1/4? And then we can go hard this, and we'll get to gain a life back. Because if I go hard now, I don't actually gain life. So waiting a turn on it lets me do that, which is great. They got to decide how aggressive they want to be here. Murder Ezreal here to start.
No way.
The party has arrived.
Achilles?
Where are you? Where are you? I think I'm happy burning their mana here. I can Jury Rig in a blocker at quick speed if they want to open attacks. A Pogger's Day to start, see what our hand looks like.
You have to get me out of here.
I'm gonna take the hit. This might be wrong.
I go waste if I'm in mushrooms. Paydesk.
Yeah, I agree, G-Rock. Their one card that really matters is Captain Pharaon. And with Vengeance in hand, that's not even that big of a problem here with us at 14 and us having a good amount of pressure. Sky Zero runs the world. Thank you for the 19 months. Really appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Okay. And you can see how we have a setup similar to their deck where our interaction is going to turn into reach as we pivot into the late game here. In fact, speaking of, I think I just attack here, right?
We could use a bite.
Because they don't gain life, so like they block here, we static shock this them. Maybe I should have jury rigged here.
So young. So young.
This level's Ezreal. Oh, he was leveled already. I'm dumb. What did I miss? What did I do? I miscounted. Emergency thing, sure. Sweet. No Pharaon for them. And like I said, honestly, the way we ended up positioned that game with the Vengeance in hand, I think we were okay to beat Pharaon. Oh, when I looked at him and saw 5 of 6, that was before the Static Shock resolved. You're right. That's what happened. I thought I was looking at that as after Static Shock had happened, but it was definitely before. Full mulliganing here, looking for Aftershock to kill their Plaza. Not amazing, but fine. Elise on 2 is really good when we're attacking on evens. We have Go Hard to kill a 2 1-on-1. BMF, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Jagged Butcher's a little sad because I can't kill that one with Go Hard. Morning, Big Mama.
I know what lurks in the shadows. Split her out.
If they want to spend a sharp sight killing my Elise, I think I'm okay with that exchange. They do not. It's nice.
No prey, no pay.
This kills through Ranger's Resolve. It does not kill through Sharp Sight. That being said, if they have Sharp Sight to save her, I can kill her with Go Hard next turn. I think I'm just opening attacks. I only have 4 mana, so I can't use Ezreal's... I can't use Ezreal's Mystic Shot anyways. Pretty confident they don't have Sharp Sight at this point. They would have used it by now. When are they implementing turn timer changes? I believe they said that was coming in... it might be the patch after next. I think they said it was 2-2. The patch before the next seasonal tournament, which makes sense. Because turn timer changes don't really impact the ladder all that much. Yeah, February 3rd will be the Aphelios as well as next balance patch. It's going to be a bigger balance patch, so we should expect buffs in addition to nerfs in that. Spider Max, thanks for the follow. Welcome to Homelandia. I'm just passing and banking spell mana here. I want to thank you for the Trundle Swain list. I played a turn 5 leveled Swain last night. That's awesome.
The ocean is no place for the weak.
Alright, don't Rangers resolve me. Sharp Sight, sure.
Bless his motion.
Love ya.
Yeah, I'm supposed to block here.
There's plenty of killing left.
This is our way.
It will all be over
One Mystic Shot, please. Rats, we didn't draw a Mystic Shot, chat. We're so unlucky. Can you believe how unlucky we are? Can you believe this card used to cost 1 mana?
I'll be damned.
Who thought that was okay?
Slow down, will you?
Skitter out.
I'm attacking here. I think I'm probably blocking if they attack next turn anyway, so I think I'm okay with this trade. Trading this off means if they draw second Misfortune, they're in a little bit worse spot. Get Mystic Shot and Pogger's Day this turn, which is great.
Alright, let's mess some folks up.
Hopefully find a 1 mana card here. We got a bunch of deal ones in our deck. Alright, I mean... was hoping for a go hard, but it's fine. I'm gonna block here in addition to Mystic Shotting because I want to not take 5 if they have Sharpsight as their last card. I have so many cards in my hand here that I basically just need to survive. So I'm just like taking action to keep my life total as high as possible here.
I'm so good, I surprised myself.
I surprised myself.
The world's a big.
Are they dead? Do you have Hearthstone lethal? I think that's Hearthstone lethal, right?
Show them what we're made of.
And they didn't Sharpsight last turn, right? So I think it's probably safe to assume they don't have it. What does Hearthstone lethal mean? It means we have lethal if they don't have any interaction. Because in Hearthstone you can't respond to things.
Sounds dangerous. I'm in.
Means no responses, they're dead.
Can't stop me.
See.
Easy. Like my name.
Like his name. Oh no, chat. If we keep running hot, are we going to accidentally be a master stream today? That would be awkward. We're a meme stream. We can't be in masters. That's against the rules. First off, how dare you? Alright, so keeping Aftershock sounds great against their Ash deck. Am I keeping Ezreal here? Seems pretty mediocre. I'm mulligan that too. Looking for like an Elise. We're attacking on even, so an Elise would be great. They're almost assuredly a Plaza deck, right? Garen guarantees that. So these Aftershocks are great. The landmarks have such a satisfying sound when you break them. Just this very great, like, I'm taking your toy and getting rid of it.
I will unite the Freljord.
I thermoing this Ashe? I think I'm thermoing this Ashe. It's not resource efficient. Guess it's only one more than they paid for their thing, right? If you want to drop some LP, boy, do I have a deck for you. It does beat Troll Chant, which is appealing. That's true. Wow, that burn is so good for us. Is this a Ledros matchup? Is this a Ledros matchup, or can I rummage him? I feel like this isn't a Ledros matchup, right? I want to spend mana this turn. I don't really want to glimpse. That's true. The board is pretty clean. I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna pass and see what they do. They might just play a threat and then we get to vengeance. Yeah. Okay. If you want a single combat to stop my draw too, I'm okay with that. Yeah, deal. And getting to use our resources here is good for us.
We fight for those who cannot. We do what is right.
Riot, if you're out there, Static Shock not being able to kill my own thing in instance like this sucked, and I wish this card was templated differently. I really hate that, like, this card and this card are both PNC, but one can arbitrarily hit my opponent's things and one can't. Or one can arbitrarily hit my things and one can't. Feels super inconsistent. It's not to cut down on complexity, Alanox. If it was to cut down on complexity, it was something that all the cards would do. I think it would be fine if all of the cards were templated that way. My issue is not that I can't hit my own thing, and my issue is that I can't hit my own thing some of the time. That's the problem. I think templating everything so you could never hit your own stuff is fine and even borderline good from a complexity quick standpoint, but a sometimes you can and sometimes you can't is bad.
Lead our charge.
Demacia, now and forever.
I'm gonna hang on to this for now. We can draw a jury rig.
A true Freljordi is welcome.
I'm gonna kill this with the Thermo Beam because otherwise they're gonna have a good open attacks, giving this fearsome. Thermo Beam with the cost decrease is not a combo.
Faster than my arrows? I think not.
So I can't just Ledros here because Ashe will frostbite it and then he can't block. So I think I need to try and kill the Ashe. So we beat one Troll Chant, we don't beat two. Okay, so we're taking 9. We're taking almost lethal here. These are both fearsome. I'm 1 mana short of doing both of these. It's really unfortunate.
Anything helps.
I guess we do this and hope to draw Vengeance next turn. We're gonna be dead to opens. That'll do, pig. That'll do, pig. I mean, to be fair, we didn't die to pump spells. We died to unblockable 6/6s. So like we had plenty of blockers that game. The problem was the fact that my opponent was able to I want to keep the hapless. I want to keep the hapless. I'm gonna mulligan for removal. That's great. Thurston and Ottawakin, thanks for the follow. The problem there was the Cythria, right? Like, them being able to stop our soft removal from killing their threats wouldn't have been an issue if I would have been able to block. Always offer this trade here because they could have the Give a Barrier card next turn. Not super common in this archetype, but occasionally sees play. Double Progress Day. Vengeance is real awkward here. It's an okay draw. Am I playing this? I think I'm not, actually. I think the ability to kill Plaza this turn is too important. If I play Elise here, I get an attack in and get a spider, but then they're gonna have a chance with priority to play something out, and if they play like a scout, they get to eat my Elise anyways, so I think it's ideal to prioritize being able to kill their Plaza. Play a 3/1 scout, please, so I can Wild Feast it.
Looking for trouble.
Misfortune, sure. So I can actually Poggers Day this turn?
Splitter out from the darkness.
I don't know if that's good, but it's something to think about. We'll see what they do if we need to interact. What's the play? Looking for some cheap things. Alright, it's not terrible. This card being a burst speed blocker saves you when people think they have lethal open attacks more than you'd imagine. Quite frequently.
I ought to show you the sights of Bilgewater. The sights are fine. The smells, on the other hand.
Yes, our scouts opponents are very good at drawing 1, 2, 3 exactly what they need. We were able to beat this last time, so we're not just dead by any means. Let's see if we're gonna be able to scrape our way out of it, huh? Our hand's a good bit clunkier this game than it was in the previous game, though.
Still heart, steady aim.
If this can draw a Mystic Shot, we might be okay. Another Go Hard also lets us kill this. We get to Go Hard plus Vile Feast. Yeah, that's correct, Violet Journey. Their deck is really bad without either of these cards, so you should definitely be full mulliganing if you don't have all of them, either of them. Am I supposed to make spiders? This has got to be bad to just take a hit here, right? I'm taking, like 10? I don't know, I kind of want to take the hit and, like, glimpse. Taking the hit and banking spell mana also has some appeal. Like, my 1/1s aren't doing anything right now. I think I'm just supposed to pass. I think I'm just supposed to take a hit, play Ezreal, and then like have Ezreal set up to
Guns blazing.
have Ezreal set up to Mystic Shot and kill this. I can also play this as a gain 5. Doesn't seem awful. I think that's the play.
Love ya.
Yeah, and that burst speed blocker often being very useful in instances like that.
I thought you'd never ask.
No, I can't kill Misfortune with that because of her trigger.
I don't miss.
Alright, they've already played one Sharp Sight. Do they have a second? They do not. We're gonna have Ranger's Resolve to protect this.
I'll be damned.
This deck runs off drawing your Go Hards in the late game. X-Core Foundry does that much better. I think so. Random Digit, what you just did there sounds like pretty peak card game player. You described to me how you would cut a bunch of cards that help you survive in the late game to be as greedy as you could possibly be to add a bunch of cards that helps you kill other people in the late game. I actually completely disagree with your assessment that this deck runs on drawing Go Hards in the late game. I actually think the big appeal to playing this deck is explicitly the fact that it's good when it doesn't find Pack the Bags. I think you're right that there's situations where drawing Pack Your Bags is good, but to state that that's like the average case scenario or what you need to happen is not representative of my experience with the deck. And I think that the changes you just described there are going to make you better against mid-range and control while making you absolutely fucking terrible against decks like what this opponent is playing. And I think those changes are really bad. I think those changes as described sound like they will lose me far more games than they will win me. I need to block here because this is going to get to level in a second. Like, the majority of games that I lose with this deck are because I have too much top end as is. Like, my deck is already playing Vengeance, Progress Day, and a Ledros, and you want to cut 5 1-mana cards for 3-mana cards that don't impact the board and 6 and 9-mana cards. Yeah, I agree. If you live in Christmas land, what you just described is very good. However, I live down here in reality where the majority of the games that I lose involve me having too much clunk and them getting under us. So I think your changes take matchups that are generally even to good and make them worse at the sake of making matches that are already good better. It sounds like you're not following what, in my opinion, is the best way to approach deck building, which is asking yourself the question, what problem do I have and how do I address that problem? I don't think Hexacore Foundry, Ledros, and Atrocity solves problems that my deck meaningfully has. I think my deck, when played well, on average, has good matchups against other control and mid-range decks. Well, this is a full mulligan here. This is probably a Targon's Peak deck, which means Aftershock is great. I'm also likely the beatdown against whatever this is, so I want to try and find that Elise early. Well, if this isn't peak card game player, I don't know what is. Players suggest we cut a bunch of cards that make us bad against aggro and then make statement complaining about the aggro decks. Maybe the aggro deck's not the problem. Maybe the way you build your decks is the problem. It's much easier to just bitch about the aggro deck being too good than it is to be self-reflective and say, oh, I made changes to my deck that made it bad against aggro. I shouldn't have made those changes. Yes, yeah. Hexacore Foundry also gives your opponent stuff as well.
And here's where I'd paint my constellation.
Agreed.
Don't blink or you'll miss me.
The opponent's very likely a target speed deck.
I don't miss.
Our hand is not great against Beak. Okay, so with this play, I think I actually jury rig into Glimpse. Waited a little too soon into Glimpse to try and find an aftershock here. And then now I'm actually going to go ahead and Vile Feast Jury Rig Hapless. So that way I'm 75% for them to make one of my expensive cards cheap. Obviously, we're going to hit Glimpse because that's how our variance works on this stream. But yeah, trying to make one of these free sounds ideal. Vengeance is fine. It means that they play a big thing, we're in an okay spot.
I'd follow you anywhere.
Of course you would.
This is probably wrong. I don't know. I feel like I just want to use my free card too. They divergent paths last turn, so they almost assuredly have another target speak in hand, so...
Never ask.
I think I'm playing this out just to get it out of my hand again. That's not great. I guess if I hadn't played the Static Shock, I would have been able to play this for mana this turn.
For the thrill of battle!
Weird that the peaks didn't hit our go hards, big mood.
Not just flesh, brain
Alright, chat, we're gonna kill him from 15 next turn. This progress day is gonna be free, and I believe in Ezreal.
I don't miss. Nailed it.
Alright, they're at 12. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hey, tap the deck, chat. Two Mystic shots, I believe. I believe there are 2 Mystic shots in our deck. Yeah, we're holding on to this because if we draw Rummage, I want to be able to rummage into it. Yeah, they could have Star Shaping. I mean, like, I don't have anything to play around that though, Samalander. Like, you shouldn't even talk about it. Don't worry about cards you can't beat. I have positioned myself. I have positioned myself to draw to my out. It's all you can do.
Now they'll pay attention.
That'll do big. Pretty happy with how we played there. We put ourselves in a position to be able to win the game after our opponent had a pretty good streak with their Target's Peak. It's just how it goes sometimes. Yeah, super close game. Yeah, the Ezreal almost pulled that game out there. Like they were at 15 the turn before, right? Aftershock is great against their Draven Ezreal deck. Elise is fine. Not amazing, but fine. The fact that we're attacking on odds makes her a bit worse, but definitely worth keeping. Again, for those that didn't see us play this matchup earlier, Captain Pharaon is their most important card here, by far. Hoping to dodge that one for as long as we can. Target Peak should be relegated to lab only. Stop it. It always makes me chuckle how card game players get really pissed off at cards that have the word random printed directly on them, as if they don't understand how random everything else in their game is. Got it.
Where are you?
Mr. Churches, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. We're just using this for the sake of resource efficiency here. If it doesn't say random, it's skill testing. Big mood. Big mood. If you're looking for a sweet build of Targon's Peak, in addition to the big controlling builds like our last opponent was playing, there is a Targon's Peak discard aggro deck. It's like combo aggro that we had on the highlights channel. That was real sweet when we played it. So this plus this kills this now. I pass. I'm passing back and burning mana here. With Pogger's Day in my hand. I think that's okay. No, it cares about enemy units specifically. We can still Progress Day next turn, which is nice. We'll have 2 plus 6. Ezreal's at 3.
Time for a true display of skill. I don't miss. Can't stop me. Firing.
I think I'm ditching this hapless aristocrat. I guess I could wait a turn. There's no need to rush into it.
Safety disengage.
I must get out of here.
I want to do all of this in response, so that way they can't level Ezreal in response to me dealing 3 damage to him, because this is going to give them 2 more targets, so there's a chance that they could level him if I like. Take time to do this later. So cleaning the board out here sounds great. Now, something that is notable is that my opponent's next turn is the 8 mana turn, and I don't currently have an answer rolled up to a Captain Pharaon, so if they have Captain Pharaon, we're gonna be in a little bit of trouble. We have two draws at it with this at least. Do I have a gaming chair recommendation? My number 1 recommendation would be spending the extra money to get a good office chair. They tend to be more expensive, like in the $500 to $1,000 range. If you're getting them new, you can sometimes get them cheaper if you're willing to go to thrift stores or secondhand shops. If you're dead set on getting a gaming chair for budget and you want something that's brand new, the company Respawn sent me one of their chairs as a promotional thing to try out, and it's a good quality chair. I have it upstairs in my upstairs office where the kids do their schoolwork. I also have a DX Racer that I was given when I was part of Tempo Storm, and I really do not like the DX Racer. It's very uncomfortable to sit in. Drive around on trash day and find one for free. Listen, I'm gonna give you the best piece of advice you've ever gotten. Spend your money where you spend your time. Do not cheap out on chairs, shoes, bed. Those are all things you spend a lot of time in. Spend your money. Spend money on them. Getting quality things of those is great. Your body will thank you for it. As another way to put it, anything between you and the ground, don't cheap out on. Yeah, and honestly, I think this whole game is going to be decided by the fact that we didn't have a Vengeance in our top 15 cards here. I just, am not in a position to be able to take a hit from this. I guess I have one more draw, huh? I guess I have one more draw. The DX Racer chair that I have is actual garbage. It's one of the worst chairs I've had. It's better than a folding chair, I guess, but it's definitely not worth the money they cost. Because unfortunately, once we take a hit here, It means that we're not going to have the health to survive through these, is the issue. And they're not low enough for us to be able to burn them out at this point. Like I said, I have a Respawn gaming chair that was also sent to me as a promo thing, and those are reasonable, and that's what I sit in when I'm upstairs in my other office. This is a $600 office chair that I'm sitting in here at my work PC. It was not cheap, but believe it or not, the chair that cost twice as much as the $300 gaming chair is much better. It does not breathe. Not breathing is an issue with most of those gaming chairs. That's not breathing is not an issue unique to the DX Racer. The Respawn chair also doesn't breathe particularly well. You get a little sweaty if you're in it for a long time. Rats.
Hush now.
Well, we get a bunch more shots at a Vengeance for this again next turn. The problem is the Decimates probably kill us. I guess I could Glimpse here. And if I Glimpse, I could hit Pack. Nah, still the same uplift I've had forever, Texas. At this point, I'm probably keeping it until... I'm probably keeping it till it's dead. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Christy and I ended up at the end of last summer, took basically all of the money and then some that we had saved up to redo my office, including a new standing desk, and put up a playground in the backyard for the kids. Those things are not cheap. It's a good investment though in the post-plague world we live in though. They'll hopefully get a lot of use out of it. Looking forward to having it this spring and summer for them. Well, if we don't get Mystic shotted, we could theoretically kill them next turn, right? Because there's a good chance they have other reach in their hand. But yeah, this could be lethal, despite the fact that... And, like, this game really highlights just how important it is to have Vengeance for the Pharaon before it hits us once. Because imagine if we were just +7 life here, we would have had Vengeance right away. Like, there's no way they could win this, right? So, we're dead to Mystic Shot and Get Excited, unfortunately, here. Yeah, they have used Get Excited to stop us from drawing, so... Maybe we have a shot. Okay, this puts them to 7, and then this puts them to 5, and this puts them to 2. Sure. They're just playing around Vile Feast, I guess. Yeah, really close game, despite the fact that they had Pharaon and we didn't have a Vengeance in our top 16 cards. Not a whole lot we could do about that, just pretty unlucky. What's the Hyper Geo on finding a Vengeance in our top 16 cards? 43, sample size 16, 1. We're 80% to see a Vengeance in 16 cards. So 4 out of 5 games. Sometimes you low roll a little. It's just how card games work. And there were no target peaks involved in that game, right? Like, you know, random is a core part of these games. Just because the card doesn't say the word random on it doesn't mean it's not. We have this for Zoe, and that's what we're looking for their plazas.
Ask me about dragons. I just may have an answer.
I just may have an answer.
I bear a message from. Oh, hey, what's that?
We are ready for plaza. Yep. Goodbye, tiny cosmic child.
There.
No blocks. Go to 19.
Time for a true display of skill.
I'm just gonna kill this, and I don't really think there's any reason to attack into a sharp sight here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pass. It's really sad that Aftershock killing Plaza doesn't level Ezreal. I feel like that's wrong.
What's that noise? I'll follow where I can.
One shot, all skill. Can't stop me.
The age of dragons is begun. Oh dear.
Single combat's gonna gobble us up here a little bit. And it is what it is. I think I want to save this for... Acel down the line. So I think I want to set myself up to Thermo Beam this one.
You have to get me out of here.
Oh, that lets Vox generate another thing here too. Huh? I'm never supposed to kill Vox.
It's not bragging if you can back it up. Gotcha.
It also lets me attack into a Hush, which is nice. Get Mystic Shot plus Aftershock to kill this. Ezreal will level up if we do that, which means we can start pressuring down their life total, which is nice.
One star's whoopsie is another spark.
Watching you play this deck makes me realize I have no idea how to play it. Yeah, it's got a lot of sequencing decisions in it. Ton of really cheap spells.
Sure.
A lot of spots to leverage your health total as a resource appropriately. Okay, so this play is gonna look a little weird, but I'm gonna go hard this before I aftershock it. And the reason for this is this lets me Mystic Shot this in response to Aftershock if they have a single combat to kill my Ezreal. Because, like, the deal one's not worth a lot anyways. So getting to play around single combat here. This also kills this through Pale Cascade now, which has upside as well, so it's playing around both of those things.
Oh, gravity! Which side was upside again? Whichever way the paint drips, Zoe.
Getting star shaping on their unit honestly isn't the end of the world because, you know, it means it's not going here. And while we have Ezreal in play and a bunch of spells in hand, getting to work their life total down is pretty good. Black Sin, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Gaining 6 there. Oh, you know what? This was a mistake. I should have used the more expensive one. Small display. Getting paid off for holding on to the vengeance here.
There's nothing to fear.
Justice will be served.
That's really good. And this probably means we can't win anymore. We need to find Progress Day, and even then Progress Day or Ledros. Hold, please. I forgot we had that one. Oh, Add'll do, pig. Maybe Add'll do. They're at 6.
Your favorite star.
So if they don't have a hush, I think we start here and see what happens. Okay, so they're dead then, right?
Stop bragging.
Sick.
Back it up.
Is this Pack the Bags card good, chat? What do we think about Pack Your Bags? Turns out, still great at 5 mana. Weird. Reddit says it sucks now. That wily Reddit. I'm glad this deck's still playable. This is one of my favorite control decks, and I'm glad that the nerf's still super reasonable post nerf. Ezreal Victor. Gosh, we're attacking on. Attacking on odds, unfortunately, which makes the least a little bit worse. Probably still worth keeping. I'm going to keep Aftershock and Beam against their Ezreal deck.
There's nothing to fear. Skitter out from the darkness.
Okay. I think Jury Rig is pulling this weightless list. Yeah, I do, Guard Gray. I think this card's very good. It makes our rummages and urchins slightly better. And the one thing people don't value enough with this card in this control deck is the fact that this card is a burst speed blocker is huge. Having extra burst speed spells lets us trigger Ezreal more as well, which is nice. It's one mana, gain a lot of life. It randomly makes our discard draws much better. And another thing that's important is this deck is playing Glimpse, so it's pretty important that we have a critical mass of playable spells in it. Or a critical mass of playable unit. So this is a playable unit basically that also covers that. I think we're just taking the pass here, right? So I could go hard Aftershock here. 6, 7. I'm gonna open attacks to start and see what they do. I think we might just Pogger's Day and use all of our mana. What do I think about that card? I think a lot of the complaints about Hush are symptomatic of the format in general, as opposed to Hush actually being too good. I think Hush's omnipresence in the format is largely a response to the fact that things like Lee Sin are polarizing and require narrow answers. I think you could make Hush cost 3 mana, and I wouldn't shed any tears over it costing 3 mana, but I also don't think changing Hush without changing anything else actually addresses the core issue at hand. I think fundamentally, the issue is related to the fact that Lee Sin is polarizing and Hush is the best answer you can play to him. And you combo that with the fact that Lee Sin is polarizing and Lee Sin gets to play the best answer to Lee Sin, which makes it feel extra worse. So I actually think the current Hush is better than the old Hush in a lot of situations. I don't even think that's a thing. I think that's just objectively true. There are a lot of situations where the current Hush is better than the old Hush. You very frequently didn't want to play a second copy of Hush. And getting it to cost 2 mana is very good. Alright, I think we just go ahead and Thermo Beam Victor here. Yeah, talking about Jury Rig here. The best part of Old Hush was rummaging away the extra copy. That was sweet. Opponent correctly prioritizing killing my spiders as opposed to this, because spiders synergize with my Elise.
I know what lurks in the shadows.
Spilled paint is just accidental art.
Yeah, I think we definitely Aftershock this. I've got a Vengeance rolled up in case they have an Ezreal to deploy to the board.
You won't suffer long.
If they want a Pale Cascade to kill the Elise, that's fine. I'll get to finish this with Go Hard. Think about Hexacore in this deck. I think Hexacore doesn't solve any problems we actually have. I think you have plenty of card draw with things like Glimpse, Rummage, and Progress Day, and I'd rather not give my opponent extra cards. It's a nice draw.
Time for a true display of skill.
I want to hold on to the Vengeances for now. We'll just trade Elise for the goat, I think. Am I? I've got 2 glimpses. I'm probably not trading the Elise for the goat, actually. Probably just taking the hit.
No way!
from the darkness.
I think I'm fine with this. Probably just Pogger's Day this turn to gas up. At parity on board with a bunch of card draw in hand is a good place to be for us.
Some rock got me good.
I'm gonna turn this Progress Day into a Progress Weekend, chat. Do 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 do.
One shot, all skill.
Do you have another Bastion? Doesn't matter, I have Mystic Shot. Hey, Lemon, thanks for the follow. By the way, if you're new to the channel and you think this deck is sweet, you'd be right. This is one of the many fantastic sweet Runeterra decks you can find up on my website, jeffhoagland.com. Keep a list of off-meta decks that I think are competitive up there. I keep the deck list constantly up to date as the format changes. You can also find highlight videos of me playing them so you can get a feel for what the decks look like before you invest your resources into them.
Anything else?
Humanity is obsolete.
Back to egg.
Did it move?
System upgrade. Progress.
I'm innocent.
Gotta report it as a bug. That pack your bag should cost 5. Ooh. Yeah. Give him the K-pop! Give him the K-pop!
Flesh is a weakness we must shed.
This deck does have big blue-red control energy. That's a good way to put it coming from Magic. Agree with that sentiment.
Speak, star. Speak, I say.
I mean, like, we've drawn 100 cards, right? Like, they should expect us to have this at this point. Here we go, a murdering, a murdering, a murdering. Here we go, a murdering the tiny poros.
I must get out of here.
Fifteen out of 6, chat. The classic 15 out of 6. I think that's the highest I've seen it, Ezreal. You got a 24-6 with this deck at one point. That's sweet. I think I'm pretty happy with this overall. This is card for card. We started with today. We didn't make any changes. It's what's been up on my website. The last change we made was going up to the full 3 Aftershock for the format gaining Plaza in it. I think this deck's a really good mix of things. The curve on this deck is super trim. Even these more expensive cards in this deck, all of these expensive cards, other than the Ledros, are spells, so they use spell mana, right? So when you're using more expensive spells, your curve can often be a little deceiving because, like, this Progress Day, for example, is frequently a card we play on turn 5, having banked spell mana preparing to play it. So if you're looking for a deck that has a ton of little micro decisions, if you like go hard / pack the bags, like, this is a great way to continue playing it. And more importantly, in my experience playing this deck's got a lot of good games, even when you don't get to pack your opponent in. Although, as that last game showed, it's still quite reasonable. All right, I think I'm going to go ahead and be done with Runeterra stuff for the afternoon. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out through the end of it. If you're new to the